All right, welcome back to K Sports. We're now joined by SI NBA analyst Ian Thomsen. Ian, how you doing tonight?
Hey, great, thanks. How are you doing?
Good. I'm Eric, and we got Max here too.
Yep.
So to start,
great.
So first question for you. Obviously, you write for SI, and that's unbiased. How do you manage to stay unbiased as a Boston sports fan when you're writing for SI?
Oh, if you listen to me, you'll hear I don't have the accent. I'm not from Boston originally, so that makes it easy right off the bat. Everybody in my family is pro-Boston, that's for sure, but I've been doing this so long now that I'm just used to caring about the story and not caring so much about who wins or loses. And in fact, I cover the entire NBA, the whole league, all 30 teams, and there's people I like on every team. So even when the Lakers, who are hated in the Boston area, they play the Celtics, but there are guys I like on the Lakers. I like Pau Gasol. I like Andrew Bynum. I did a big story on him when he was coming into the draft right out of high school. I like Lamar Odom, real nice guy. So I don't find myself cheering for anybody or cheering against anybody, and it makes my job a lot easier that way, that's for sure.
And so, Ian, you talked about the Celtics-Lakers rivalry, something that's been on everyone's mind the last couple of days. A big game yesterday at the Staples Center. Celtics came out on top, but Kobe Bryant, he sort of went off. He had over 40 points. Do you think that the Celtics, did they put together a good win, or do you think that they got kind of lucky that they were trading baskets and Pierce was hitting shots like no other?
Oh, I think they put together a very good win, and you're right. When Kobe scores over 40 points, you have to be worried. But in this case, it was almost a good thing he was scoring 40 points. I went back and looked, and Kobe Bryant made 16 field goals in the game, but only 4 of them were assisted on. That means 12 of them he created on his own. He was dribbling through defenders, and there was a lot of one-on-one play, and that's not healthy basketball. That means that the other 4 guys were just standing around and watching him. Paul Pierce had 11 field goals, and 8 of them were assisted. A lot of them were just catch-and-shoot plays where he caught the ball and just put it up. That means the ball was flying around the court for the Celtics. They were playing team basketball. The Celtics had more than a 3-to-1 lead in ratio and assists over the Lakers. It was just a big team win for the Celtics and very demoralizing for the Lakers, who realize that they have a long way to go to play the kind of team basketball you need to play to win a championship.
And so, Ian, you kind of talked about how the Celtics, the team win was really what it's about. And although Pierce had a great day, a lot of those assists came via Rondo. Garnett had a big day inside, fighting the scratch on his head. Ray Allen hit some big shots in the fourth quarter. Is there really one player on this team who is the key player, who they can't lose to injury and really needs to keep performing? Or are they really the definition of a team?
Well, they are. I think it's a great question because they are, both your points are valid. They are the definition of a team. They've got so much depth of talent. When they started Shaq at center yesterday, they could argue that each one of their starters was the best passer in the league at his position. From Rondo at point guard to Shaq at center to Paul Pierce at small forward. I mean, they could make that case. And so that was a team win. At the same time, let's say Rondo is very important to them, but the most important guy is Garnett. When Garnett was not healthy last year in the finals, they had a big problem rebounding. And I think he was out-rebounded in Game 7, 18-3 by Pau Gasol. And it was because he couldn't jump. He was still trying to recover from the knee surgery he'd had the previous year. And then when you see Garnett yesterday, now that he's at full health again, he had 13 rebounds. That's as many as Gasol and Bynum had combined. So he single-handedly has turned a weakness into a strength for the team. And then when you think about his ability as a defender, it's really the defensive captain of the team. And then really the best passing power forward, apart from Gasol, in the league. So all the different things he does, he defines the Celtics team in a lot of ways. And without him, they cannot contend for a championship.
So you brought up Rondo and all the passing all around the Celtics. Rondo's been argued as maybe the best point guard in the league. He's up there. Do you think he's the best? If not, who do you think is the best point guard?
I think he's right up there. For me, Darren Williams is the best point guard. He's hurt right now. He has a hyperextended shooting wrist, and that might bother him for quite a while. I'm sure he's going to come back as soon as he can, but he may not be the shooter he's been because of it. So, my feelings about Darren Williams may not look so good over the next couple of weeks, but I'm picking him as the best because he can do everything. He's quick enough to play with the quick point guards. He's big enough to bully them. He's big enough to play with the bigger guys. He can play in transition. He's tremendous in the half court. An excellent passer, as good as any in the league, and a great shooter, a great clutch shooter. So there's nothing that Darren Williams can't do. I think the thing about all these point guards in the league now is that there are just so many different styles, and so there's a lot of different arguments over who's the best, and it all depends on what you want. If you want the pure, traditional, old-fashioned point guard, then Rondo's probably your man. He's the closest thing to Bob Cousy in the NBA today. And then if you want a guy that can do everything, it's Darren Williams. If you want the real inspirational type of point guard, you can go for Chris Paul. Derrick Rose is the most explosive guy. Russell Westbrook, he does it with defense. So there's just all these different styles of play at the position. And really there's just a wealth of talent at point guard right now in the NBA.
And so, Ian, you were talking about the point guards, and obviously there's a bunch of them. Do you think that there's a serious threat that a point guard could win MVP this year? It's usually been a shooting guard or even a small forward. Do you think a point guard putting up the points and the assists, such as Rose, or not necessarily Williams because he's not healthy, but do you think a player like Derrick Rose could contend for the MVP?
Derrick Rose is going to be on the short list. He's on my short list right now for sure. Chicago's doing much better than anybody could have thought they'd do this season, especially with their center, Joakim Noah, being out for as long as he is. He's still out. He's going to be back in the next month probably, but they're right up there challenging the top 2 or 3 teams in the East. And it's because Derrick Rose is doing everything for them. He's making plays for others. He's leading the team in scoring. He's pushing the ball in transition. He's defending. So he's definitely an MVP candidate. I mean, the only guys that won it, in the last 30 years that I can remember are Magic Johnson and Steve Nash. And you're right, it's a rare thing, but it's becoming more and more of a point guard league where, the NBA and basketball used to be a man's league and you needed the more big men dominated it. And now, whereas 20 years ago the league was dominated by centers, now it's dominated by point guards. So I think we will see more and more of this going forward where point guards will be in that MVP discussion.
And so switching gears, Ian, to a hot topic in the NBA, Carmelo Anthony, where will he end up? Is he staying? Is he going? When will he be going? Will it be this season, next season? What's your take on this whole issue?
Well, the February 24th deadline is coming up. You can't make a trade after February 24th. And my feeling is that the morning of that deadline that the Nuggets will go to Carmelo with a couple of options. I think he wants to play for the Knicks. He wants to be traded for the Knicks, and he wants to be traded now so that he can sign a $65 million extension under the current bargaining agreement. That offer will not be available to him starting in July when this agreement expires, and there's probably going to be a lockout as a result. And so he's going to lose maybe tens of millions of dollars if he doesn't sign an extension now rather than later. So he's going to be facing the decision if it's not going to the team of his choosing, which is the Knicks, then what's he going to be willing to accept? And I would not be surprised if the New Jersey Nets, even though they called off trade discussions with him a couple weeks ago, if they don't get back into it and they end up with him.
All right, so, obviously you're a basketball guy, but you can't ignore the Super Bowl that's coming up. Who do you like in the Super Bowl?
Yeah. I'm going to like watching it, that's for sure. It's going to be a great game, and I'm going to be the only one in my family that's going to like watching it. They all think that the Patriots should be on it. But I wouldn't be against the Patriots being in it, but I just think it's going to be a terrific game. And I guess I have to pick the Steelers, but it's really a pick-em game. It's going to be very hard to predict. I wouldn't have thought the Packers would have won last week, but their quarterbacks turned out to be excellent. Aaron Rodgers, But I still like the Steelers with all the experience they have in these big games.
Max and I agree with you there on the Steelers. All right, Ian, we thank you for coming and talking to us tonight. I hope you have a good night. And we're going to head to break again.
It's a real pleasure. You did a great job.
Thanks,
Ian. See you later.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
You too.
All right, so now we're going to head to break. When we come back, talking a little more basketball.
Hi, I'm Julia from YBA. For the past few years, I've been coming to the YBA training studios once a week or so. I'm so excited that now I'll be able to practice my broadcast skills with YBA Online. The new course has so much more than what we have learned at the studio. You can practice your delivery by recording a video with a simple click. You can even use a teleprompter to practice reading off that. I learned about the history of the industry and some of the greatest names in the business. You know what though? It was really a lot of fun. And there are some really funny videos, like the one of Jimmy Young doing his crazy warm-up exercises.
The next thing we want you to do is actually stretch the facial muscles in your face, which is a good place for facial muscles.
Or the one from Friends, and of course, all those crazy tongue twisters.
Betty Botter bought a bit of butter.
The butter Betty Botter bought was a bit bitter.
And made her batter bitter.
But a bit of better butter bought batter better.
So Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter, making Betty Botter's bitter batter better.
Best of all, though, I can practice my writing and reading from home on my schedule. And I can get coaching from one of the many professional broadcasters on staff. YBA Online allows me to learn by doing the job of a broadcaster every day if I want to. And you will have all the tools. For now, I'm Julia reporting about YBA Online.